Hold on. There's this motorcycle outside my house that wants to be so loud for no reason. Hello, everybody. Welcome, and welcome back to episode 12. Yes,
Henshins and Homies. We have a guest with us today. Is that okay? I'm a little starstruck because with us today is the current CEO of Toei Studios Limited.
I wish.
right now.
Right.
A special interview with
that place
has
John's assistant.
Changes.
Tell us, why do you hate us?
So, where are the subs coming from? Oh,
yeah.
Can't answer that.
Hey, you.
Oh, okay.
Hey, yo, where your subs at?
Let me delete everybody's
How do you
YouTube
know about
channel.
our most recent? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
He's
I'll
like,
send the
interview's
bots.
over. Anyway, imagine. Anyway, how is everyone doing today?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting the links going up too. It has been a nice week for Thanksgiving. I hope you guys all enjoyed it with your family. How was your Thanksgiving, guys? How was that for you?
Oh my God. Awesome. Family.
It was amazing.
I got fat.
So much food, so much sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sleep and food. That's all you really need, to be honest, in life. All right, I got the link up.
You got it?
So yeah, no, for me, my Thanksgiving was pretty cool too. Just chilling out with family, eating some turkey as one does, pretty fun. But we took a break that week, and here we are back again for episode 12, featuring Sentai 5. I don't think we mentioned his name yet. Did we? I think we just called you like, I don't know, John Toy's assistant, and that's it.
If you don't know who Sentai 5 is, I want you to leave the stream right now. Don't know.
You see that door behind me? You see that door that says Merry Christmas? I need you to go through that door if you don't know. Hello. For those who don't know and wanted to stick around, Sentai 5, please introduce yourself. Let the community know.
Yes.
I am Sentai 5. I make video edits on YouTube. I've been doing it for many, many years. I live tweet
professional quality. Oh my God.
I wish they were professional quality. Aside from that, I'm very active on Twitter. That's about it, really.
You're very active on Twitter. How many tweets do you have in total?
I mean, that's what happens when you have your account for like 11, 12 years.
Right.
No, literally.
There was a time that the Toku fandom wasn't really as big on Twitter 10 years ago, so it's just you were just
chilling there. You were the pioneer.
Just talking to myself basically until like I found more people eventually.
One of my favorite posts that 5 puts up is every single Sunday, superhero time. He puts up the images. Now. Exactly. Oh, you said it. Yes. Puts it up with the images, with his commentary, doing the science all the time. Oh my goodness, I love it. Love it.
I've been doing it. I was doing it for years before even like I even talked to anybody on Twitter.
Right.
I just did it talking to myself, basically.
Hey, 5. Yeah, 5
well. You're like, dear diary.
Basically, yeah.
Twitter was your journal, and then all of a sudden people were like, wait, this guy's...
Yeah, then I look back on some of my tweets, I'm like, damn, I was so positive back then.
Dang,
where did the light in my life go?
You can see it. It's gone. The gleam of it in his eyes. They're just not there anymore. He's seen too much in the community.
Yeah, over the years.
We all have now.
You remind me of the guy in Dawn Brothers who was in like the jail cell. He's like, visiting hours are over.
Oh,
right?
Jin, yeah.
Yeah.
1 second.
All right.
Father.
Join us now. There we go.
Now, it's not a request. You must join us now. And if not, on Spotify, Apple, Google, and Amazon.
You're watching live right now as this live stream, or yes, our sultry, delicious voices on audio only as a podcast. And if this is your first time watching or listening, this is Henshins and Homies, the podcast where my friend, my wonderful compatriot, my Aibo right here, comes together and we geek out and freak out about our shows week to week. May it be Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, eventually like Power Ranger stuff. Yes, eventually. Why don't we throw in Metal Heroes and Ultraman 2? We're just gonna not have a life and just do that as well. But we also try to highlight awesome community members like Sentai 5, who have these awesome skills, video editing, or Stickosaurus, who does helmets. We had Daryl J. Delphin, who does voice acting and has the script of Forever Red in his DNA.
With his amazing
Giving them some more.
I love it.
Yes. Giving them some more notoriety and push and publicity so that they can get awesome opportunities. Like our good friends at Power Warfare got to host those panels and meet those actors. Oh my goodness. So
it's amazing. So let's jump into today's topic, shall we? Let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
According to Zachary. So we have covered Geats in the past on this podcast, but ever since then, a lot has happened. A lot has went down,
a few things,
and a lot of theories have been sprung up on us. So we need to take some time to revisit Geats and talk about it, because
we posed the question in that episode 1, which you did have an episode 0 if you've been following us from the start. You remember, episode 1 was Squall as our first guest, and we posed the question: is Kamen Rider Geats? Neats? And I feel like I know where we're at with that, but we're going to delve right into it. Spoilers, duh. While we're watching a podcast about the show that if you've not watched it yet, I don't know. You must be a masochist. But anyway, we're going to talk about it.
Into that.
Yeah, you want to be spoiled? You want us to tell you these, mostly American people to tell you how the Japanese show goes? Then I guess that you got it. Here we go. We're going to act it out, the whole show right now. Ready to start? No, I'm just kidding.
Desire Grand Prix. Just step 1.
So absolutely, Kamen Rider Geats. Sentai 5, I'll have you start with your overall feelings and thoughts about Geats as it is, episode 1 through 12. Where are you at?
All right. So this always happens. The last few years, I've always been enjoying the first half of a Rider show.
Sure.
Except for Saber. Saber kind of had a switch. Saber, I didn't like the first arc, but then after that, it kind of improved for me.
Yeah.
I'm
But,
laughing because we just had an episode talking about Saber.
But ever since I can't even pinpoint. I want to say since X8 maybe, I've always enjoyed the first half or at least the first arc of a Kamen Rider show, and then it just I don't know, at some point the quality just dips. So I had the same problem with Revice. Revice, I was enjoying the hell out of.
That's what I'm worried about, because we were right here with Revice last year.
Yep.
And then
I was so optimistic. I was so positive about Revice, and then at some point it fell and then went up and then fell. I was like, what's going on here?
Let me help you up. Come on, I'll give you a Band-Aid.
But I really hope Geats really just keeps up the quality. I know a lot of people really like the writer for Geats because X8 and 01. So I know those are very popular with a lot of people. I'm pretty mixed on X8 and 01, actually.
Sure.
When it comes down to looking back on it retrospectively.
Yeah.
Right. It's odd that 01 didn't have any V cinemas, though. It's weird. So, anyway.
Yeah, no, that never existed.
Oh god, I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but someone posted a Desire Grand Prix card. Create your own Desire, and
I saw the template for that. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I was like, 01.
The first. That's right. Except for honestly, Real X Time is fine. I don't have any issue with Real X Time. Stop there. Stop it. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
I don't know what it is about all these
downhill.
V Cinema, V Cinex that they just try to I don't know. They just try to do too much.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
I feel like they're trying to complete characters' arcs, even though they kind of already were. Just because a character is still around or may still be dealing with some.
The intended demographic, which is, by the way, 8 to 10-year-old Japanese children, I feel like I'd be pretty damn traumatized if I watched 01 and watched Real X Time, right? That's fine. And then watch the V cinemas only for some characters to maybe not make it. I would probably not be happy my mom took me to that movie.
Personally, I just don't believe in having to kill your character off in order to complete their arc.
Thank you. Their arc.
Yeah, arc.
It works for some characters, but I feel like with 01, I feel like with 01, they just did it a little too much. They killed off
everybody left and right. It was crazy.
Right. It needed to be this guy over here and that guy over here, and we killed 4 characters at once. And it's whoa.
Yeah.
Jeez,
I remember reading the rumors for the Metsubo Jinrai, the V Cinex before we even saw it. And I was like, nah, this has got to be fake that they just killed everybody off in the last 2 minutes of the movie. That's crazy.
Right. I
Like,
watched
what's
that. I'm
even the
like,
point?
I was so confused. I'm like, what? Did they just die?
Yeah,
I,
it's I
I was
don't
so I feel like it's just wasted potential now because these writers can come back. You know how like they have
right.
that new
And you know
series
they're
going
gonna
on.
they are gonna come back no matter what, because whenever they do the big team ups again, they're just gonna show up.
Yeah, mainly for like characters like Fua because come on,
Yeah,
he's a secondary writer and you're gonna kill him off like that.
yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
I also don't know what's going on with Zach right now.
It's all right.
Usually I'm the one with the connection issues. You know what's
Oh.
funny is how he always likes to say some little stuff while I'm gone and I'm glitching. So I don't know, Zach, if you're watching back to this clip, you're a stinky doo-doo head. Yeah, I said it. You can quote me on that. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna start beef.
But
But
on to
tell me,
Geats, aside from
yeah,
just wanting it to have the quality stay up,
yeah,
I've actually really been enjoying it so far. Um,
yeah,
I know a lot of people don't really like Ace and his personality, but
yeah.
I think it kind of like I'm used to like seeing characters like that here and there, so it's okay for me. And
I'm
I
really
think
happy. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
that's okay. I think like the way his actor and the way he's been written, the way his actor portrays the way he's been written has also been pretty solid so far. Like he's a
Yeah.
jerk, but he's a jerk who cares, even though he still
He's
wants to like, even in the end he's still gonna do whatever it takes to win. And
yeah, like that's the thing about Ace.
yeah,
He's a wild card, an ace, if you will.
yeah,
Like he
exactly.
really won't let you know his true motives, even
Of
though he
course not.
kind of
He
tells
kind of
you,
does, but you
but
just
then
don't
he
know at that
doesn't.
point
Yeah, like you
if he's
never know when
telling
to
the truth.
trust him.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And
weird.
I think like that's okay for this kind of setting because it's a game you're fighting for your desire and potentially basically fighting to survive. So it's like you're gonna do whatever it takes to win.
Right.
And
Right.
that sometimes you got to put yourself in that situation. You can't, and it comes back to K also, who's trying to act all righteous and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And it
you
kind of
could see
got
the
him
difference.
exactly,
You
like
know,
those
as much as
clashing
I
ideals.
yeah, absolutely. As much as I respected Kiwa at the beginning, like I want to do good in the world, golly.
Yeah,
Like I think I
he had to
like
learn the hard way.
exactly, and I like that affected his art, and that we
Yeah,
have this interesting thing with character arcs where when they lose their credentials, they lose their memories, but they come back
exactly,
into it, they remember it all and what they've learned right now. I think that's
exactly.
really good, and I like what you said about Ace because he almost I say he would fall into the category of main writers like Tsukasa. Like we've not had
Yeah,
a Tsukasa like writer in a long ass time. They've all been really good, nice people.
Mhm.
Whereas I probably in real life wouldn't want to be friends with Tsukasa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you
But
can never
Ace
tell when he's being serious or not.
exactly. Whereas
Right.
Ace has a bit more to him. Like one of my favorite moments early on is when the whole thing with Ginpen and everything, where
Yes,
about
yes,
his son, and he ends up donating the money to the hospital,
yep.
saving the kid. Clearly, dad's gone, but he's at least helping the kid.
Excuse
So,
me.
well, for
Right.
now,
Like
as far as
we,
Yeah,
yeah, we know for a fact that Ace has a heart. Like he deep
yeah.
down he does have a heart. He is human. But he's a
apparently forged sometime in the
very
Roman era.
old
But
human. Right. Like he's very
Yeah, he's been
old and
doing it
he's
since
been
day
playing
one.
this game for a long time to the point where even spoiler alert, the game master is like
You've won too many
he,
times. Get
he
your ass
needs
out of here.
to
whoa,
be
whoa.
out. He's discovering a little too much, you know? So playing the game so often, it's only natural for him to learn these kinds of, you know, skills, and especially learning to not trust everyone and to not be so vulnerable for, you know, someone to take advantage of him. That
Mhm.
he does that before someone does it to him,
Right.
Yeah,
manipulating them
Exactly.
or like making them
but you
believe one
also
thing
see
only
him.
to
Mhm.
trick them.
Yeah, you also see him slowly like growing a little bit. Where like at first he
Oh,
was kind of more
absolutely.
dismissive to everybody. Now you can see like even though like you said the portrayal of his character is so great by the actor because in little bits and pieces you're seeing him more and more show a bit more emotion. It's not quite in the level of like
Yeah.
Taro emotion
Right, right.
being weird,
No.
but
It's
it's
more where
similar.
everybody's like rubbing off on him and they're rubbing off
Exactly.
of each other. And I
Right.
like that a lot, especially towards the end of the last round, because I was like, oh, they're saying each other's lies that they said to each other. Now, like,
Right.
it's good development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially since like with Tycoon Nago and Buffa,
Yep.
he even a little bit with Punkjack. Just no, not actually, no. Forget
Punk Jack.
Jack.
Yeah, not
We'll
yet.
get into. Not, he's not there yet, but he does seem like a character that will stick around.
Yeah.
Whoa, he's definitely like starting to warm up to those three characters. You know, almost
Yeah.
like as if they were his friends. Which I feel like in the past for Ace, he just sees writers come and go. You know, just like
Yeah,
us in the
exactly.
show. So he
Doesn't
never really gets
necessarily want to
attached to
eliminate
them.
but
He's
doesn't
been there, done
necessarily-
that.
Yeah,
you know, he
exactly.
knows
Right,
how it
like
goes.
he doesn't really pay mind to them. He's just going to use them for his own
Mhm.
gain. But I feel like with those three, he has developed this kind of relationship even outside of the game with like, you know, eating food with them and like giving them
Yeah.
advice, even though he will use that advice to backstab them and later.
Exactly.
You know, like
it, talk about his troll sense of humor with the last wish, where he was just like, "I want the DGP staff to be my family." Like,
Family, yeah.
God damn
you know,
it.
at face value, it seems like he's just trolling around, but you got to realize that he's trying to get the deets. He's
Yeah.
trying to get
It's a plan.
in behind the wall, you know, to see
Mhm.
what's going on, because apparently he wanted to wish back his mother and that wasn't allowed. I
Right,
feel like
exactly.
of all things in the DGP, at least seeing someone that you miss so much would be allowed.
Well, and what's interesting is that that's not allowed, but Kawa gets to write his wish about bringing everybody back that was defeated by a Jamato.
Well, we'll
I mean,
see if
maybe
he
they
wins
let
or
him
not.
write it. Right.
Right.
I want to see, I'm waiting for the episode where Ace loses and
Me
we
too.
just see the look
I
on
think
his
we
face.
all are.
Do you think
Yeah.
that's gonna be the entrance to like his?
Well, there's
berserker
grains of
form?
salt things about that, about there being like a separate Fox Rider for a bit or some kind. I thought I saw something about
There's
something.
been so many rumors.
Is
I
this
know
some
there
like
absolutely
sound
Too much for me to
spoilers
keep
or
up
something
with.
like
Yeah.
that? I don't know. But all I'm saying is his berserker form is just it's gonna be because of him losing.
That'll be what
I
brings him
know.
back into it. Yeah.
He's gonna
Yeah.
crack and he's just going to go nuts on everybody. He's like, I lost. No,
I like how you
my
say
streak.
it. I like how you say his berserker form with not a lick of anything in you that you don't believe he's gonna have one.
Yeah.
Because it's just what we're
This
used
this
to.
No,
this
we
round
know.
of the DGP might be the one that changes everything, because like we're already seeing it change beyond the game master's control now. So
Right.
Yeah.
And Punk Jack too is an interesting character as well.
and then
since
you got the
he's
Jamato
working for
Riders
them.
with the guy
Yeah,
harvesting them.
I want to
and
talk about
everything.
Batman.
So
Things
So,
are
like,
getting
I am like
wicked
from the
crazy.
very beginning. I
Yeah.
was like, these like henchmen are they're way more interesting than we've gotten in any season for a while. All right, like they have much more importance to it, and like what's going on with that. And then to see last episode, don't get teared up there. It's okay.
oh no, I was fixing my contact.
I'm trying to skip you.
It's like, oh my god.
The Jamato is so funny. But to see that there's like an actual scientist guy that's like creepily, of course he has to creepily. He can't just be a normal guy. It has to be
course
some weirdo.
It has
who's, like,
to be
feeding
some
them
nut
and
job,
growing
of
them
course.
like babies and like feeding them the ID cores. And see what's funny, we're starting to get a little smarter here. We're starting to learn through these rounds because that was a theory for a long ass time that the Jamato
Right.
were past riders that were dead. And they kind of are in a way when you really think about it, how he creates them.
We
with
don't
the
know
ID cores.
exactly
So-
what makes them Jamatos. Like we don't know if
Right.
it's like their body turns
They're
into
just
like a
cultivated
seed,
in the-
or you know their spirit becomes a Jamato or something like that, or the rider cores that they used to be like are fed to them and
Yeah.
there's- like
we
I
just
kinda
only
feel
see them in their
like-
little birth pods, and that's it.
Right. I kind of feel like this
Right.
is my theory now, kind of amended a little bit, in that I think the broken ID cores from when Ryder is defeated are the seed that starts it, because the Jamato are all evil.
got it.
We've seen
Yeah.
them. They're all awful, disgusting, gross, right? So because it was clearly when you're defeated, that's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of emotion play in this show. I've noticed a lot of like different emotions happening.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's a part of it, that there's something about like how you feel when you're defeated in the round having effect on the ID core, and that being used to grow the Jamato, and that's why they become what they do and why they're starting to evolve, because he's making it. I like that that little bit at the end of that last episode as well was really cool, that he wants to burn down the DGPs. Now you have like 3 separate people who want to
Yeah.
destroy the
Take it
DGP.
right.
Now we gotta know how the DGP wronged him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, and I'm excited because these characters are just getting more and more unique. You know, I
Right.
don't know what Geats
Nobody
has
feels
in
left
store.
behind. Nobody feels
Right.
wasted. I other than in my reviews on my channel, I talked about the repaint Mary and what's it called, Ginpen or whatever.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
he's Kilo. I understand that, but the other one I didn't know her name, so I called them both the repaint rider.
See, that's like the good. That's like what I like and what I hate about Geats so far is that like, yeah, we know people are gonna like die right off the bat, but like
Mhm.
what's the point of you saying what their desire is or like what they want to do in life when you're going to kill them off 2 seconds later? It's like,
yeah, she was a little wasted.
They
I was gonna
want you
say
to get
her-
attached.
she
just
didn't
it's
for
no
the
point.
sugar.
Like, we barely even knew her when we met her.
She
Right.
was in and out the first episode.
Exactly.
She was. I just want to imagine, right? Like her as the actress taking a photo to promote on your Twitter, like, "Hey, I'm in the show."
Those contractual
then-
obligations.
A suit and everything,
Mom, are
and
you
then
proud of me?
she dies the same round. Like,
Yeah,
she
like,
was probably
I've
there on
seen-
set for one day.
I've seen a lot of people say like they're not really clicking with Geats, and I feel like maybe that's like one of the reasons why, is like you have all these different writers. I think it's a good concept, no matter what. But like, my taste, what I look for in writers is completely different from what a lot of people look for in writers.
Sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's
Is
like-
it more about there being like not so many? Is that what you're more a fan of, or
What was that?
Are you do you like it more for there to be not so many writers, or for there to be a larger cast?
It really doesn't matter for me because I think
Okay.
for the DGP setting, it works for it no matter
Mhm.
what, because you're always going to have a large group starting out and then they get picked off. It's
Right.
just I think for this round they did it a little way too fast,
Right.
because they by the
Yeah,
second
the-
episode of this round they already knocked down to 5
Like-
people and then started switching people out.
Yeah.
It's like, come on now, come on.
You-
Let's
Right.
not forget that every round starts with like over 50 people
Yeah,
that we never
yeah.
really get
Right.
to see.
I
Exactly.
And
would
then
like
it
a little
always gets
montage of
narrowed
them all
down
just getting
to
like
less than 10.
bing, 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 bing.
Right.
Oh, we're gonna get
Exactly.
that. We're gonna get that. How many rounds do you think the show will have in total? Because
So
we're
usually
in
by
our
like the
third
winter
one.
they usually like change the show and like forget what they wanted to do in the beginning and make stuff
Right.
up along
So
the
that's
way.
what I think. I think we're
They're
going to
like
get a
DGP
really
rounds.
big
What's
switch
that?
up. I think what's going to
Exactly.
happen, this the revealed rider we got, that Gurea, whatever it is.
Glare,
yeah,
yeah,
his name
whatever
is,
that is. I think he's going to
Sick.
change the game. I think somehow he's going to somehow cheat and win and screw
course.
up the DGP somehow and change it so that riders can fight riders and like your wish won't really get fulfilled. Well, yours don't really get fulfilled the way you want now.
Yeah.
Even worse, more Faustian, if you will. I just think a lot of
the wish happens.
Exactly. So I think that's going
Mm.
to happen, and I think that'll push Jory Game Master Man to do something, and eventually, I feel like he's going to be a writer too.
How
at
much
some
you
point.
want to bet the game master's gonna be like, Geats, please?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna ask for Geats' help.
Yeah.
These
I know
last
I've
few
been trying to figure
episodes when
out,
he's
but,
just like freaking out about like how everything's not going according
I've
to
just
his
been so
plan.
jelly of your KD, man.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, you're definitely gonna ask him for help like down the line. So like I don't know where he's trying to hate anymore.
Right. That was
And,
one
like-
thing too. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, no matter what happens, like in this arc, I feel like Ace is just not gonna win this one.
Right? Yeah. I
Yeah,
think it's gonna
yeah,
be the upset.
100%. Like, that's exactly what's.
But
gonna
then I
happen.
felt this
Ace
way
is
about
not
the
gonna
last
win.
round also, because I was like, man, maybe they might make Buffo win. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
Yeah. No,
The
I'm
first
just
round-
tired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, technically second round, but
Also,
we'll say first
I
round,
do like the
first
game. I
full
did
round.
like the Labyrinth game these last 2 weeks. It's probably
Yeah,
my favorite one.
I've been
My favorite
really
episodes so
surprised.
far.
By the plots, like having
Yeah.
like really interesting, like the missions being really interesting. That's what I was
Yeah.
worried about, and that segues what I was going to say was that when the stuff came out about like the whole battle royale thing, Fortnite, blah 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 blah, blah all that stuff, right? Which is other battle royale games besides Fortnite. Let's relax. Like, I was worried because I don't like that style of game myself. I know other people do, and that's totally fine. I respect Fortnite for how many franchises you can have in one spot together.
Yeah.
But the battle royale thing of like, here we go, and done, and then you lose, and it's like I don't get to play anymore. I got to restart, and I don't have any of my stuff. That's boring to me personally. So I was worried about if I was going to like this. And then episode 1 hit, and I was like, never mind. it just works.
Woo!
It just works.
Yeah,
I really got.
It's different when you're not playing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I could be.
Zach. Actually,
Aw.
this-
I gotta get mine from my drawer.
hello.
Did you get a custom
You
one
guys can
too?
hear me?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
We can hear you.
hold on.
You're good.
You're good.
We can
Oh,
see you. Oh,
locked
now he's
out.
not.
But
Oh,
yeah,
he's doing
Geats so far, I'm pretty optimistic. Like I said, I'm always optimistic about like the first half of a Rider show, no matter
Sure.
like for the most part. But I haven't enjoyed
Yeah.
a full Rider show like from start to finish in a while. I think like since probably Build maybe.
Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, you're a man of taste. 5.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Thank you. Yes.
0-1 I thought was gonna have me, and then with the whole Thouser stuff, I was like, all right, you're really dragging this out. It's time
And
to switch
like
up.
it would have been something if that was where it was all goofy and then that was it. But then like they unfortunately got screwed over, as we all know, with
Yeah,
everything that happened with COVID. So then it
Yep.
just made everything really janky. So Yeah.
Still, at the end of the day, it's just like I can't get behind it like that.
Right.
I wish I could because I really want to, and I pretty much like the entire aesthetic of the show of 01
Mhm.
and everything. Like I collect the figure arts for characters I don't even fucking like. I'm sorry, are we allowed to curse on here? My
Yes,
bad.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Okay.
I love how every time we have a
Christian
guest, they're like, "What the is this?" And then they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, can I curse?" First of all,
It always
it's fine.
touches
You already
Frankie
did
off
it.
guard. I'll say something really quick, and he's like, "Oh," and then you see this realization.
No,
like, oh, wait.
Zach. Sometimes you be saying the most out of pocket stuff, but whatever. That's what
That's the brand for Hooked on Heroes. Okay.
it's explicit. It's explicit.
But yeah, I wish it was 01, man. I really wish, but
in another
unfortunately,
universe,
it
it's
was
probably
not.
good.
Well, like I
with
collected
Geats-
everything from like almost everything from 01.
You took
'cause, like,
everything from me.
yeah, I can't even do that anymore. I can't even say that
know.
anymore.
Oh, we'll get there. Hold on.
It's too hurtful.
So,
yeah.
one thing with Geats, and we can segue into that very soon.
Yeah.
In a few minutes here. Absolutely love the Desire Driver, the gimmicks, the suits,
Oh,
all of them.
100%.
And I was so like surprised by that because I wasn't sure when they were given details. It made no sense to me. It was the first time when I got leaks, and I was like, "What the fuck does this mean?" Like I just didn't understand like how it was going to all come together. And now it makes so much more sense with like the simple entry forms, adding on the other parts and stuff like that. Now, what I want to see is Fever used with a small buckle, like the spike array or whatever. Like I want to see what that
You
looks
want to
like
see
first.
Spike and Spike?
Yeah,
Oh,
just to see what it does, just because it would be ridiculous and stupid.
But yeah,
And I also would love to
Double
see
Spike.
my other fun thing to see would be like somebody like in a montage of other riders getting defeated. Let some rando rider that's not going to last get one of the the normal like badass buckles that belong like that resonate better with our main cast riders just for a second, just to get knocked out.
right. Yeah,
That's
that's what I like
I'm
about
sure
it.
they're
Also,
gonna
the
do
whole
that.
concept, because like you basically build your own driver. It's really cool.
Exactly. And I like that mix and match, but then they also build lore into it where they keep asking him questions. And he's like, well, certain buckles resonate with certain riders.
Others,
It's like, okay.
makes sense
We
because you see them using, promotionally, you see them using a specific one. And
I
then they just
really
tie that
enjoy
in.
my favorite thing ever, as far as like a suit thing, was Buffa being like, I have a gun. Do I though? And just beating ass with the gun and not shooting it.
Yeah, because that's his fighting style. He's more of like a close range kind of guy compared to Geats, who
I just really
is
enjoyed
perfectly
it.
fine using
That's why when
like,
he
80
had-
guns on his suit.
As soon as
You
he
know?
saw a zombie in this round, he's like, "Old man, Grandpa, you got to give me that right now."
He's like, hey, can I
That's
get
mine.
that? No,
That's
right.
going
What's
to early
interesting,
retirement home.
what's interesting that I really wanted to bring up in this episode, because since the last episode it was episode 1, now we know so much more, is the raised buckles that aren't like the normal raised buckles. Like for example, Magnum over here, this resonates with Geats, but then we have the twin command buckle. Those kinds of power-up buckles, I really want to see what they're going to do with it, because right now, Twin Command only really works with Geats and Tycoon. Does that mean it resonates with them specifically, or are they the only characters that get the chance to use it during this round? And other buckles in the future, like, what if Geats' final form could be used for everyone?
Right, that's what I was thinking of too.
That would
They're
be
going to keep
really
adding the
probably
tails
happen.
with the Kitsune situation, and that's the thing that's so. I love how this show, just like Don Brothers and Zenkaiger for me, where they like challenged what it was to be a Sentai in general, tropes and all that. This is doing that for Rider for me, because it's like when you watch like even like Revice, right? Like technically you could put the Giffard Rex stamp into another driver besides the Revice driver,
Right.
but it wouldn't do the same thing as it does in the Revice driver, and they don't do it in show, right? Whereas this, it's like, is it fair game? Like, are we going to see someone like Trip
look,
Ace
they already
and take
did it
his
with
final
Fever
form
Slot,
bucket?
so
Right? That was so
I
cool.
feel like they can-
That was
I feel like
such
they
a
can
fun
do
scene.
it. Yeah.
Oh my
I
god!
love that scene.
I'm actually
Love that
happy they all
scene.
got one.
Right?
I'm happy all like the
Choreography.
main riders of this round got
In
one.
this show
because-
is god tier. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, if you-
Sakamoto's putting in the work, right? Am I right with that? By the way,
if you want to
would know.
like if you want to commit to the concept, you got to commit to the concept, and that's
right. Right. That's the other thing I want to mention also that was a fun thing that I absolutely adore about our guest today is that he has an encyclopedic knowledge of things with tokusatsu. One time I asked him, I was like, hey, and it was like something about Rio Soldier, about an episode that Sakamoto did, and he gives me an entire list of like every episode that Sakamoto helped with in Rio Soldier and like timestamps. And I was like, oh.
some of the timestamps are like some of my
Things
favorite
that
moments.
comes
That's
down
why, so.
comparatively.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sad Sakamoto didn't do Zenkaiger or Don Brothers. He would have
that's
done
interesting.
something crazy.
Was
with
he busy with Ultraman then?
Yeah, he's been very busy with Ultraman.
Is he
Do you
doing
think he
anything
would
with
have
Geats now or
revealed
no?
Inu to the team?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember if he's doing anything with Geats. I know he did some Revice as well.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he didn't do any Zenkaiger or Don Brothers. Don Brothers, I feel like it could still happen. It just hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm
This
not
is
really
just
holding, I'm not really
King
holding my
Oger,
breath
if
for
anything.
it.
King Oger may be the season where
Hopefully King Oger. Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
But
Awesome.
Oh my
So
God,
I feel like
yeah.
we love Geats. It is neats. It is good. It is
Yeah.
amazing.
Geats is still needs.
still
I
needs. Yep.
am personally, and it's just who I am as a problem. I'm very Kawa-like and being stupidly optimistic about things sometimes. Where
It's
I'm
okay.
like,
It's a new writer. It's a new show.
So
okay.
I
don't want to think of the worst when it comes to these kinds of shows, because even though we see reoccurring patterns, I choose to ignore it and I enjoy what we have right now.
Because of these reoccurring patterns, I try not to have high expectations either. So
unfortunately,
I'll take it as I go.
Right? And you're not alone. A lot of people feel that way
and
as
I think
well.
with Revice, that looking back on Revice when it was like awesome at the beginning, there were still some holes leading into the goofiness and the awfulness and the not so goodness. Whereas here, I don't see as many holes. So that makes me hopeful. Like there's some tiny that's true, and I'm okay with that. Please don't give me all of it already.
Plus, I
the
feel like
mystery
since it's been a few years since the whole COVID shutdown and stuff like that, and I feel like they have the budget again to really go all out on these shows. I feel like now the writers
have time to write.
They have time to write. They have time to film. They're not just going to change their mind about a character midway through the season.
Hopefully,
most likely will, but maybe not in a dramatic way like with Aguilera and Revice.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes.
And
I'm
also,
optimistic as well.
Yes, it's also refreshing that it's not nearly. I mean, it is a little bit. It's not nearly as toy commercially as it's been for a while. And I know, I get it. I get that that's the purpose. I'm not mad when it's a toy commercial. I understand. But
they're throwing buckles around and everything.
That's true. That's true.
They're really
but they're not
every
like,
day.
It's pretty gratuitous in other seasons. I feel like it's just down just a tiny bit. Now it's not like Don Brothers where Inoue just basically throws a middle finger to anything. That
he's always been like that. We just throw shit in. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I'm waiting for there to be some. I can't, dude. Ace and Taro would rip each other apart if they ever met each other in any kind of crossover, and I want it to happen so badly.
This is the highlight. No, this is the festival.
Exactly.
Matsurida.
We got to do those spring crossovers again, but we don't.
They're happening. I'm sure they've already filmed it too. They're just editing right now as we speak. They're editing it, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, by the way,
you are right. You're helping as the lead of Toei Studios. So how's that going?"
They don't really listen to me that much, so can't really.
Zach, he can't say anything. He signed an NDA.
Oh my God, it's a conspiracy. He's at the top trying to change things, and they're blocking him.
You can't see it, but there's someone standing here right now trying to.
What are they? They're holding.
Trying to silence me.
Oh my God!
Snipers on you right now, bro.
Magnum shooter 40X at your head. Is that what's going on?
Exactly. They're holding one to my head right now.
Yeah. No. Overall, Geats is great. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it soon. And we're all hopeful, but we're also expecting a decline soon because that's just how it's been.
It's natural. I don't think it's going to be as not much of a decline as has been happening with recent seasons. And I feel like it's the best of Reiwa we've gotten so far as a strong start all the way through to right now. So,
they're all good. They're all good in their own way for a lot of reasons, but there's also going to be cons. And with Revice, 01, Saber, there were a lot of moments like that. And since Geats is still so new, we just haven't seen as many yet. But we know they're coming. So we're just
I'm kind of expecting for it.
Yes,
I feel like a big thing with Revice is that they had a lot of premium Bandai toys. Hopefully they don't do that for Geats either.
Even though they did with the Java Riders already.
I mean, I can't really.
We have
because it was like day one that it was announced about the Demon's Drive. I was like, "Yep."
That's the Demon's Drive is very understandable for that. I'm okay with that, but like,
I feel like the Gemato, it's just a buckle.
Yeah, I know. Why do you need to...
Why is there
And
premium
and-
band?
I don't
and
really
an
know what
ID
the
core.
budget is either for like
God.
the retail
Oh,
line.
sorry.
It's their culture.
And
Do
the
not
ID core.
appropriate them.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know.
All right.
I love that they say henshin, by the way. We can go to the next thing, I promise. But I love
That's
that the Jamato actually say henshin. It's just a
Yeah.
fun little thing, and I really enjoy
And
it.
they said it in their language too.
We're gonna get
it's
a
so cool.
Jamato that speaks full Japanese fluently, and they're gonna be like the King Jamato or whatever. Like,
No,
I've
he's
been
became
brewing up that one for a while.
in completely
weird farm
English.
Imagine.
Oh my God.
Okay. Let me just say real quick, and we'll get to the next topic. I
Yes.
watched the Battle Familia movie because I
Ugh.
flew to Japan and watched it legally, and I
I watched it in theater.
can't get over the game on guy. Like it
You
kind
need
of
to
threw
get
me
some
off.
Sentai
I
culture,
love King
sir,
Kosugi, but
and watch Kaku Ranger, where things are said like that all season long, bro. I'm telling you right now, it's the most jarring ass thing ever. You're watching your Sentai, and it's like, here you go, here's Jiraiya, and he's like, hello, I am a ninja.
It's like, whoa, who are you? No,
You're
with
like, "Oh,
George, it's
stop,
funny because he's like,
no."
God damn, or like something like that.
Goddamn.
But with him, he says it so like enunciated, like now is the time, and it's like, oh, and guys, now is the
that's
time.
like part of the whole. That's part of the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish.
right.
I wish his character in Revice was I don't know, done a little bit better.
Yeah. Or maybe he could have just taken the place of Gift, because who was that even? Nobody.
Yeah, I know. Like his character was already so similar to what the hell's his name?
Akaishi?
Akaishi. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So I'm just
Looney
like,
Tunes asshole.
I don't know. He was just
God
there.
damn it.
I'm sorry,
and then the last
guys.
minute, he's like, "Yeah, I lost a lot of loved ones. That's why I tried doing this shit." I'm like,
I
"Why you
wanna
gotta
have
say
a
it as you're
whole-
about to die, man? Come on."
I want to have a whole conversation about Battle Familia.
Me
Fist
too.
bump in the
I don't.
fire
I really don't like it. I don't like it at all.
That's why I want to have a conversation after the show. After
There are bits and
After the
moments where I
show,
can
yeah.
turn my brain off.
I said I had to say on the TL because I was like, you did all your strongest points, all
In,
like
like,
the
the
major
first
points that you
act.
try to get someone to see a Kamen Rider movie in the summer in the first 20-30 minutes. That's like
Right?
that's not good.
Okay. We're gonna have
Yeah.
ourselves. This is a really good conversation. I really do want to save it for later because we could
Yes.
talk for a whole episode about this.
I know. Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
yeah.
absolutely most people know this, but we had a recent hit to the fandom, and that was the unfortunate passing, unfortunately due to suicide, of Jason David Frank. Very, very, very sad. Lots of loved ones and fans, beloved fans around the world that were very upset for this to take place. I will say that when this happened, I really didn't want to believe it because there's really stupid,
Yeah.
awful people that need to go to hell that make up fake things about celebrities and say that they're gone when they're really not. So I thought that's what it was. It really
Exactly
felt
what
like
it
an awful meme at first, and then it got corroborated by actual cast members and like eventually the TMZ thing, which throw that in the trash. Go on your Google there or whatever you got, your phone, whatever, and look up people.com, like the magazine and People. They do an amazing interview with Tammy where she sets the story straight of what happened. So
I read that this morning.
yeah, and that was good. That was good.
Almost made me cry in the toilet.
Oh my god. God damn
Getting
it.
ready for work.
We're
So.
trying to be serious.
I know. I was getting ready for work and I read it. I was like, "Oh, come on! Don't even cry right now."
When it happened, when the like it got confirmed, I was like shocked and I was like, "Whoa!" And then I made the mistake. The next day, I don't know why I did this. I was like, before the boys wake up in the morning, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna watch some Dino Thunder on YouTube. And I literally chose fucking Legacy of Power and Back in Black. Tears.
Yeah.
Tears in the intro sequence, in the theme song. I was like, I can't.
As soon as you see that starring Jason David Frank as Dr. Tommy Oliver, I know.
It hits hard,
Yeah.
man. Like
Yeah.
I just got out of work at like 3 a.m. and I just opened Twitter and all I see is, no, this can't be real. No, I don't want to believe
Yeah,
it. No,
everybody's
no, this is
subtle
fake. This
about
is
it.
fake.
But no
I'm like,
details.
what-
I'm like,
what are
what's
people
going
talking
on? Let's be
about?
serious. Whoa,
And then
whoa,
I
whoa.
see some like screenshot
Yeah.
about like someone like telling someone else,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
I was like, no.
Mhm.
I couldn't say anything out loud because it was late, but
Yeah.
I just felt like no. All I could hope for was that it wasn't real. And that morning of, with more and more people coming out, giving their condolences, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard it that late that night too, and it was
Mhm.
like I heard it from someone who's like, I'm not gonna say who they are, but they've been very they've told me some private things about like PR behind the scenes and stuff that's actually
Sure.
happened that I've never
Sure.
like really spoken out on before.
Sure. Yeah.
And like they confirmed it. I was like, oh my god, no,
Yeah.
please don't.
Gotta
And then
absolutely
like
believe him at that point.
that
Yeah.
night, I was staring at my ceiling, like tearing up and everything. I'm like, this can't be real. This is crazy.
Right.
I gotta wait.
Yeah.
I gotta wait for that like confirmation tomorrow morning. Like I can't believe. I don't want to believe this.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was really hard, and a
Yeah.
lot of people feel this way. To have
Yeah.
someone like Jason David Frank leave us is, I can't even really put it into words. I didn't make a public statement about it besides my I give condolences to my to his family and friends tweet. Other than that, I haven't really said anything else, but I felt awful. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't believe that he was gone, and what this means moving forward, not even just for like PR, but just in general, like it puts things into perspective. You really have to appreciate the ones that are there for you right now, because you
Mhm.
have no idea what people are going through,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
Right.
especially with men. Men do not
Mhm.
get an easy rap as far as like mental health goes.
Mhm.
People can seem
Yeah.
fine, and then
Oh, it's made a
behind the
joke of
scenes,
all the time, as if it's something funny, and then these things happen, and then people are like, "How did it happen?" Well, he was crying out, and nobody listened to him, or
Yeah.
maybe nobody.
it's
did. Maybe
heartbreaking.
like allegedly other
Absolutely.
people, like not
Plus
him,
the
maybe,
whole
but-
stigma behind mental health too, and like reaching out for help. It's tough for a lot of people, and I've said this quite a few times over the last few weeks, and like I say this every time around the holidays anyway, because like I know it's a rough time for a lot of people, but I'm just like, don't be ashamed of like reaching out for help, especially like when you have the resources available to you.
Exactly.
Just take
Mhm.
advantage of them, because I'm
Mhm.
telling you that could be like that really could be the first step in helping yourself out.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And
And
if you
Well,
see someone else going through something as well, reach
yeah,
out, be with
exactly.
them, check up on them, give them the space that they want, but also don't let them feel worse, because
exactly.
you
Right.
you are
Gotta
a
be there
light
to
to
let them
them in a
vent.
way.
Mhm.
Right.
And I think it also hard for me because I recently my wife works at a community mental health place, and I also work through the same agency with in a different area, and I work with people with developmentally disabled, and so it hit with me as well because they also have not so good days where they come in,
Right.
they're not happy, they don't want to go bowling, they don't want to do their normal things, and it's odd. It's like what's going on, and like you always want to do this thing, and now the light is gone. And it's
Yeah.
very kind of similar to these things that people feel. I mean, like I've never myself, I don't think I've ever really truly had like a suicidal thought necessarily, but I've had some pretty depressing days or days where I
Yeah.
feel like a bunch of things are going wrong and whatever. And so like I understand what it's like to feel a little bit helpless, feel a little bit pressured. There's so much on you. And then for me, my poll, and for a lot of people, it's like your family. Like for me, it's my kids, it's my wife, it's you guys on Twitter. Like that's the
Yeah.
happy things that pulls me out of it. Like, you know what, it's okay. It's sucky right now. Let's try to move. And some people don't have that. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Nobody knows. We will never make a comment on that or ever know because
Yeah.
it's not our business. But I think it's definitely something important to think about and to talk about, that it's a serious topic that people need to take seriously. Our government
Mhm.
clearly in general, but society need to understand. You need to reach out. Even if it's somebody, it's like, oh no, my dad's fine, blah, blah, blah. He's strong. No, you don't know that. You think that he is on the surface.
Anyone and everyone can benefit from help, no matter how
Yeah.
big or
And they might
small.
say
It could be
no,
as
but
small
you
as a
reached
text,
out and tried, and that's the thing.
or as
know?
big as let's go out to dinner sometime. It's
Mhm.
on me. I just want to take you out and
Mhm.
have some fun.
Yeah,
Just be there and show the people that you love that you care about them, because you never know what
right.
they could be going through, and you may
Mhm.
just be the one thing that's keeping them around.
Yeah. And it's interesting
Exactly.
because you mentioned your post, Frankie, about reaching out, like condolences or whatever. I did a similar one. It also talked about that, kind of apologizing for ever going too hard on like the jokes about JDF and things like that, right? Like goofy stunts and things he did and whatever. And like most of it was legitimately funny, but it just like, to me,
It was the timing.
Exactly. And I
Yeah, I
think
know. That's how
also,
I
I
felt too.
think I tied it toxically, if you will, together with like my like disdain for MMPR, where it was like, because I didn't like MMPR, I thought I'm not really a fan of JDF either. And I really was. And I was just kind of mixing those things together, and that wasn't okay to do. You know what I mean? Because he's more than just that. He's more than just that in his roles and everything.
Right.
But I really meant it when I think I said it on Twitter at some point, that I think it was the title of my video about it on my YouTube channel, was he was truly a Ranger in show and in real life. He is one of the first that I remember distinctly ever not being embarrassed a day of his life being a part of that show.
He said aloud.
One of the first actors to ever be like, yeah, I was on it. Cool. You want a picture? And like being a cool dude, you know, and not caring about what people thought about him. And that's big. Like we can say all the time, like, wow, it's great that I know Frankie and Sentai 5 and I could talk to them about Toku and they think I'm cool and I think they're cool. But it's different when you're someone like JDF and it's like, I'm this big star. I did it. And you know what? I'm proud of it. I'm happy about it. I want to talk about it.
Some actors joined Power Rangers and, you know, they filmed their season and stuff like that. And then they were like, yeah, so on to the next role. And then they never really, you know, do anything with it, right?
He was out there.
Some of them, right. Yeah. JDF was different. He was out there. He is a Power Ranger in real life too. Like he really is a superhero to all of us, with just how confident and happy he was with, you know, meeting fans and just reaching out to fans as well. Like I see some people post screenshots unexpectedly getting a message from JDF expecting to never hear from him, just from like a random Instagram
text. Big things I learned this week about him, and we can talk about this too, because I know that I think 5 of you, did you get to ever meet him in person at like one of the Morphicons or anything?
Yeah, I'll talk about my story in a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
So 2 cool ones, because I never got to, and now I'm going to make it, since my friend Tyler and I, is my very best friend, my brother, he was my best man at my wedding, and he's a huge JDF fan and still is. So our dream was to go to Power Morphicons, number one dream, and 2 was to meet him. Clearly that can't happen, but I still think we should try and go. So I don't have a personal story with me meeting him, but 2 that stuck out to me that were awesome this week was from Pocky. Pocky Squirrel talked about her husband, and at the time she was dating him, is a huge fan of JDF. She went there to a convention. It was like a gigantic hours-long line. Their handlers came through. His handlers came through and saying he's got a flight he's got to make. He might not make it till you guys signing it. She was going to get one thing signed. This man went through every single person in that line, shaked their hand, said hi to them, and signed their stuff, and probably was late to his flight and didn't care and moved on. And other than that, if you guys didn't know, when the pandemic was really awful, he was visiting a bunch of small mom and pop concerts.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Only and appearances, he was donating his own money to some of these shops to keep them afloat during the pandemic. That's a big deal. Because they're not just like the big, like where you get comics. Oh, I go to Barnes Noble get comics. They're not a franchise. They're these small shops. That's all they are.
Program or something like that.
You know, that's where their bills are paid. So I think that's amazing, and I think that's awesome that he was that involved with stuff like that. So
he cares, and he showed it.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
Frankie, do you want to talk about anything, or do you want to just hand it off to 5? It's up to you.
I mean, personally, I have never met JDF in person, but.
And it's interesting coming from a younger perspective for you that you weren't there at the start of MMPR, but you still get the
100%. No, you can't join the MMPR fandom without knowing about MMPR, whether you like it or not, right? And MMPR is really that ground that, oh my God, I can't get the word, but MMPR was that base for every other season that came after it. And JDF set an example. He is the example on how a character in Power Rangers can be explored and, you know, experimented on. And I'll go into this a little later since I finishes his story about, you know, meeting the man. But growing up, like, I never really was attached to MMPR, but if I did have to pick one thing that I really liked about it, it was Tommy Oliver. And I love him. Like, I have, you can't see it because I never really show it, but I have a whole little, like, Tommy Oliver, not shrine, but like, it's just 3 figures of him, you know, right? Like a little display just dedicated to the man, because he is a great character. And JDF,
you know what I thought about the other day? That man had, I just thought about it, including Draken, technically had his own team with the 6th.
Yes,
if you really think about it.
He did.
Because he had Mighty Morphin White, Mighty Morphin Green, 2 Reds, Zeo and Turbo, Down Thunder Black, and Draken as the 6th.
Yep.
Like, he could have had his own team if he wanted to.
Like, just himself.
Tommy's done it all.
Right.
There's not many Power Rangers you can say about that.
No one has done it like him. Not one person. We have some Rangers that are in different suits, but not as many as Tommy, you know?
Yeah.
So, no, like, even though I'm younger, I still felt really connected with Tommy's character, and I owe a really big thanks to him for just, like, you know, pushing the franchise to the lengths that it is at right now, because without him, I don't think, like, it would have gotten the same numbers and the same toy sales, you know? I wouldn't have
Absolutely.
watched Samurai if it wasn't for JDF's influence on the show. But tell us, Sensei Five, how did you meet him, and how did that experience affect you?
I met him in PMC 2018.
Okay.
And originally I was waiting online to meet him, but like his line was way too long, and I didn't want to miss the Beast Morpher's cast reveal either. So I was like,
yeah,
all right, I'll meet JDF later when I do a photo op with him. So I was waiting. So later in the day, I went to a photo op with him. So I was waiting online, and I was like, oh damn, I can't believe I'm about to meet him today. I'm about to meet him in a few minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I'd be shaking. I'd be like,
nah.
meeting
See,
your
like
real
when I
life
meet
hero.
actors and stuff, I try to like stay calm and collected
You're like-
and everything.
5 is built different. If you didn't know.
Yeah,
And then
like,
inside you're like,
because they know like you're already excited and you're so starstruck to meet them and everything. So like,
Right.
what if you know that they know that, like it's so much easier. It's okay.
And they're so excited to see that.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
excited.
Like they're there for
like
you.
Jem's video this week. Did you see Jem's video meeting Johnny Youngbosch and more?
Yeah. That was so cool.
The most beautiful thing. I need to meet Johnny Youngbosch. That's my goal.
Yeah, Johnny Bosch is always hyped about like Power Rangers and stuff too. It's great. So when I walked up to JDF, I was wearing the Black Dino Thunder Morpher because
look at you.
a lot of my like I never really when Dino Thunder was on, I didn't really appreciate him as the Black Ranger. I always thought that was kind of weird, and he should have been Dino Thunder White.
Right.
It was just always my assumption because ever since I saw the toy pics before the show even started, I was like, oh, Tommy's probably going to be white because he's already been the White Ranger.
Right. Yeah.
But then like as I like paid attention to how his character evolved and everything, and like obviously fighting spirit, how it came full circle to him as a Power Ranger, and like
Legacy of Power.
him as a character.
Mhm.
I was like, all right, yeah, Dino Thunder Black is pretty raw now.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
No,
I wore that Morpher because I was like, he's seen Mighty Morphin and Zeo and all that stuff like 1,000 times. I don't think when does he ever wear like a black dino? Like when does he ever?
You know
see
what
people
suit he
wanting him to
hasn't seen? Most likely Turbo.
Turbo, yeah, I know.
Nobody.
But
probably
every now and then
noticed
he does do the morph pose and everything.
Yeah.
Because he always talked about the steering.
I love that video of him. Yeah.
But like in recent years and stuff, it's just like he really talks about Dino Thunder, but like, and this was around the time we started seeing promos and stuff for Dimensions in Danger, and I was just really excited to see the Dino Thunder black suit again. So I was like, all right, let me just wear it anyway. So I walk up to him. He immediately, his face like it was crazy. I wasn't expecting this reaction at all. His face like brightened up. He's like, "Oh man, you're wearing the black Dino Thunder Morpher? That's so cool, dude." And then he's like, he shakes my hand. And he's like, "I'm Jason. Nice to meet you." I'm like, "I know who you are. I know who you are." But like, I get he's saying it because like
I know where you.
Yeah,
this
it's
is the
probably a
first time
script
meeting
he's
him
got to
and
say. Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So he's like, all right, we're gonna pose like this, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll do a little fighting pose and stuff. And then after that, I was like, hey man, it's a real honor meeting you. Like you're my favorite Ranger and everything. I know you get that a lot, but it means a lot to me. He's like, oh, thanks a lot, man. Seriously, thanks for coming. He's like, thanks for coming out and all that stuff. And as I'm walking away, as I said goodbye and walked away, he's like, hey man, don't forget to watch on August 28th. Talking about Dimensions in Danger. And I turned around, I'm like, I won't forget. I started laughing and walked away.
Yeah.
And for that brief moment, like that, like really like helped make my weekend.
Right.
And Power Morphin Con in general was just like one of the best weekends of my life.
Sure.
And he helped really make it because obviously he knows how much he meant to all of us, and he knows how much we all meant to him. So it's when it's like a mutual level like that, it's like I don't know, you feel very comfortable. Like
so wait a minute, you didn't decide to flex on him by doing the morph pose?
No, there wasn't enough time in between like the photo ops because it was a huge line.
Sure.
So like you didn't really get to talk that much, and I didn't get to stay to talk at his table.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the only time because I didn't know when the next time I was going to see him, but unfortunately that was the only time I ever met him.
Sure.
But yeah,
what I love about your story is how humble Jason is talking to his fans. You know, because, like, hello, hi, my name is Jason. Like every celebrity you will ever meet at some like meet and greet is gonna be like, hey, how you doing? Oh, you want a photo? Okay, great. You want me to sign your shirt? All right, thank you for coming. You know, like Jason, he knew that you spent a lot of money getting there, one, and two, that that you see him as a big figure, like a big influential figure. So he's gonna hold that with the utmost respect. He's going to shake your hand. He's going to give you a little like pat on the back. Oh, you want to do this pose? You know, like he's chill. He's treating his fans like humans. You know, a
He
lot of
makes it
celebrities
worth your time.
right. A lot of
Oh,
celebrities
that's what I liked.
are fake in a way where they see fans and they're like, oh,
Trust me, I've met
man.
some actors. I'm not going to mention that are
Mhm.
like they just want your money, keep it moving, and
From what I've
Right.
heard,
But
that
Jason,
isn't that
you can tell he
how
cares, and
what's
that's
his name,
amazing.
Austin St. John is for the most part. That's what I've heard. I mean, I know
can't
we
confirm nor
mollywop
deny
on
that.
him. Okay.
Sometimes you might get some looks that like, hey, if you're not going to buy anything, keep it moving. Don't even talk to me. But that's all I'm going to say.
You want to buy a figure?
There's a reason why I say so. You guys, so there's a reason why I started. So you guys are going to buy something, or what's going on here?
No way that he said that.
I didn't
No,
know they
but-
started it.
But,
Yes, and you're like,
you get the
of
you get
of
that
course
you get
you
that eye
didn't say
contact,
that.
like what do you like? Come on, you gotta come on now.
Sentai Marie 5.
Sentai 4.
Yeah,
You're like, no, he used my full name. No, yeah, like,
but yeah, Tommy
That's
like
what makes
obviously meant a
Jason
lot to me
amazing.
in general. He's my favorite Ranger, and you know what sucks is that like in recent years it was really hard to say it on the TL. Every now and then when people are like, oh, Twitter, well, who's your favorite Ranger or whatever, because like people would for some reason would always crap on Tommy. It was weird because I think like because all right, I get it because like they thought of him synonymously with JDF, so and whatever people hated JDF for, which I think a lot of it was unwarranted.
Yeah,
I'll admit, like and I said this in my tribute to him that like I did make fun of Legend of the White Dragon and everything, but in retrospect, obviously that was very wrong. Especially like the timing and everything, we didn't know what was going on.
Exactly, and it's I'm absolutely there.
Yeah, and he used to do a lot of stuff that like you couldn't help but like crack jokes at either like over the years.
I think that's kind of a way because I think that's my like recent connection with him
Yeah.
is if you don't already know for how I carry myself on Joker Twitter, I'm a fucking jackass, and I feel like he also does the same thing where it's
He's
like
a prankster. He was always the
Exactly.
prankster on set, so it's like
Yeah.
he's doing all this stuff to like get a reaction. And he just can't help but like make fun.
An awesome confirmation with David Yost that it pretty much confirmed that he has been amazing friends with David Yost for years and clearly was not the one that was part of anything making the possible awful remarks and everything. So that made me
I
really
had a feeling it couldn't have been him either way.
No,
like
no, he carried
they
himself.
were doing a lot of like stuff together over the like during cons and stuff. So it's like, wouldn't he stay away from JDF?
Right.
Or something
Frankie,
like that?
did you see Squall's thing about so he did a thing where he got the actor for what's his name? Cole, is that in Die Ranger, right? For
oh, I know what you're talking about. That video was very nice.
Tiger Ranger or the White Ranger equivalent in Sentai and Die Ranger, the actor that played Wolfhead, right? He got that actor to come to Primorphicon and meet JDF. There's this whole moment where they get to meet, right? Because they played each other, like he played his comic
right. I think I've seen this video, but
I wore his suit.
Yeah, and so
they're hugging each other. It was so nice.
It's so cool to see. It's a really look on Squall's page. You'll find it there. It's pretty cool. But what's funny, there's an addendum to it that not a lot of people talk about. Is just after that, Squall mentioned that he told Squall and some other people, yeah, I wish I would get the same kind of love that he gets in America, like the fan base that he gets, because a lot of people like thought that like Cole was like a little annoying, like how his character was because he's a kid in the show.
Right.
So
right,
like
right.
he's kind of jealous of how JDF like is like this god in Power Rangers, you know. And
then Blake walks in, he's like, yeah.
I felt bad I didn't get a picture with Cole because all the Japanese actors were very expensive.
Oh, really?
Okay. They were incredibly expensive.
You're like, how do you think I'm gonna fly back home? Like, you better pay for my ticket.
Yeah, so like, I did speak to him for a little bit, but I felt bad I didn't get a picture or anything because I. Do you
remember any of the prices? Just from morbid curiosity, I want to know what I'm getting into.
What happened?
The price for it. Do you remember any of it? Possibly.
The Japanese actors, if I remember correctly, they were close to like 100 each. Yeah, but like they would give you like doesn't even matter, but like they would give you a picture and an autograph with that price.
Bad? With all of the money I've thrown into Toku toys and shit, that doesn't scare me. It's the price.
I mean, $100 isn't really.
I kind of
as
that year I cut back a little bit on Sentai and Rider. Actually, no, I didn't cut back on Rider. I was collecting the full bottles like they're coming out my ass. That year. Like there's a full bottle with anything I was getting it.
No,
but
oh my God.
For Sentai LVP, I wasn't really collecting that much. So I was like, okay, I could cut back, and that money saved I could put towards whatever.
Yeah.
Because how am I not going to take a picture with Ninja Red's actor first?
Right. Absolutely.
How am I not gonna do that?
Right. The drip on him. Oh my god. His civilian.
Or Takeuchi, one of the biggest Sentai suit actors there is.
Yeah.
How am I not going to take a picture with him?
Exactly.
He was a legend.
Crazy. One day I hope to go to PMC.
Yes.
Hey,
one way or another.
It's gonna happen.
Maybe not even as a guest, but
you gotta believe it's
as
gonna
an actor.
happen.
We'll see.
Oh, I'm going to be there. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. We'll see what happens. But
yeah,
man.
But quickly on Tommy, it's like I was there when he left in Turbo. Like,
yeah,
that was like one of my not my earliest memories, but like some of my first early years of watching Power Rangers. And
me too.
By then, Tommy had already been like a huge impact on my life as a 4-year-old.
Right.
And then like I just never thought I'd see him again until we saw him in Wild Force. First of all, I couldn't even recognize him in Wild Force with the spiky hair. I was like, "Who the hell is that?"
Like,
that's supposed
to be
Tommy.
Long hair?
He cut his hair because like I hadn't seen JDF ever since Turbo when he still had his long hair.
Right.
And then after Forever Red, I straight up never thought I'd ever see him again in Power Rangers until I remember like before Dino Thunder started, like even airing a promo on ABC Family or Jetix, whatever. I remember my brother, I won't forget this. My brother was like, dude, you're going to love next season for Dino Thunder because Tommy's coming back. I was like, no way. You're lying to me right now. You're lying to me.
I bet you were so hyped.
Yeah. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, they're bringing back Tommy next year. They contacted JDF and he's coming, like he's coming back.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, they're flying out to. I was young, like back then I was young, but like I still knew like the New Zealand like Power Rangers wasn't an American production anymore.
Were you aware of the existence of Sentai at that point? Or?
I was. Oh yeah, it was.
Okay.
That's when I was like, slowly getting into it.
Yeah.
But like I knew like Power Rangers by then didn't have American actors anymore.
Sure.
It was all new, like it was all Kiwi actors and Australians.
Kiwi.
So I was like, wait, they're gonna actually fly JDF out to New Zealand. That's crazy.
And there's some fun behind the scenes stuff. Like, you know how in because we've all seen Dino Thunder, the whole arc, partway near the end where it's like first he's stuck morphed and then he's invisible and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So that all came together because they let him keep going back home to see his family.
Yeah.
A bunch of times.
Yeah.
And actually, if you watch it through, there's a lot less sick ayahs in it.
This is one of my favorite stories of him.
Disney thought he was swearing, Frankie.
They thought he was saying shit.
They thought he was saying swear words. He was saying shit. So that's
why on the TL I always used to say shit all the time because I was like, I can't believe they thought JDF was saying shit.
Oh,
that's crazy.
He's like, no, wait, what?
Also, if you notice, there is, I don't think, a single scene with him not with a long sleeve shirt, jacket, or something like that.
Yeah,
because he's tatted up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just funny little things where it's like when you watch it, you don't think about that because you're in the universe of the show. But then when you get the little tidbits, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Can we also talk about the wild ride? Speaking of Tommy, the wild ride of his professions.
Yes.
Because from high school student karate man, right, and like White Ranger, Green Ranger time. Then he gets to Turbo or to Zeo, and he's about the same ish, right? Then he gets to Turbo, and he's like, I want to be a race car driver. It's like, oh,
okay,
all right, cool. Then we don't see him for a while, and then he's just like, I'm still a badass. Just that's my job, being a badass generally with spiky hair,
full time badass.
And then he's like, paleontology. Oh, and also. Okay, and creating robot dinosaurs like you do.
I was going to say he's partially responsible for the world almost ending that year. He's half responsible.
Tommy Oliver is decade.
But he took accountability, so it's okay.
Yes. And he also, I never understood this, and maybe you can clarify this, Five. I don't understand how, like, they needed to give more on how Haley knew Tommy. Like, when I first watched it, I thought for some reason that she was going to become a ranger or was a ranger. Like, she makes that comment in Legacy of Power about, like, almost insinuating that. And then, was she in Ninja Storm or not? Was she not in Ninja Storm?
No, she wasn't in Ninja Storm at all.
Because there's somebody in Ninja Storm.
I believe they were supposed to, that role was supposed to go for Kat. It just feels that way. And I think they actually did contact Captain Sutherland, but I just don't think she was available at the time.
Sure.
But it would have made more sense if Kat was there because,
Oh, wow.
But No, yeah, Haley was never in Ninja Storm.
Okay.
I think Haley was like a news reporter in Ninja Storm, completely
different character. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason I saw her and I was like, maybe she was a character there and I'm just dumb. And now she's
That's how
here
all
doing
these
this
shows
thing.
are. Someone will appear in one season and you just remember them from like one scene or
an
like
uncomfortable amount of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that when that happens though. Like when one side character becomes a full.
Yeah, they
main
did that a
character.
lot
Like you're
in
kind
the
of
Disney era.
right.
That's
I'm
crazy.
like, oh, so like they auditioned again and they got like a more important role.
Well,
That's awesome.
case in point, Connor's actor was his twin brother,
His twin brother,
in Ninja
yep, in
Storm,
the
and then
finale.
became Donald Thunder Red in Donald
Yeah,
Thunder.
yeah.
So, and then it's great. Well, we're not done with his journey yet. Hold on, because then he goes from paleontology man Magoo and does his thing with his team, whatever,
Old
to
teacher.
Dimensions in Danger, where he's back to being badass as a profession.
Full time badass, guys. Not with the good wife.
I still think he was a teacher then. It's just they never elaborated on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
Professor
you
Tommy.
like Sentai 5 Soul of the Dragon? I liked it myself, but did
I
you?
think all right. So I'm not really a fan of Power Ranger graphic novels from Boom.
Okay.
Sorry, Boom. I know you're
No,
probably
it's
maybe
cool.
you're watching this, but
Maybe Snipers are
Yeah,
on it.
Boom Comics is just watching this random.
We're having
podcast.
they could be. You never
They're
know.
our guests next
sometimes.
week, so.
But in case
Oh,
they are,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but a lot of the graphic novels haven't been the strongest. But
Sure.
I think Soul of the Dragon was probably the best graphic novel they did.
Sure.
And
Sure.
I'm
I put that
pretty
in my Amazon cart and I never ordered it.
I think I'm
I
pretty
actually-
satisfied how they ended Tommy's story in that.
Yeah.
In that, I think
Yeah.
I like that they gave a little bit more to what the Master Morpher was, but not enough of any kind
not
of
enough. Yeah,
explanation.
they
We're
could
not
have
getting it.
elaborated on that. Should have. I feel like that should have probably been a mini series instead of a one-off.
Yeah.
Because like
Mm.
also like there was a scene where he goes to SPD. They have a freaking watchtower like the Justice League now in space.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's talking to Sky, and they're like reminiscing on like a fight that never even happened in Power Rangers. And it was
right.
like and
We're like,
they're talking
Hey,
about
remember
like, it
that
was,
cool
like, a
thing
big
that
event
happened when I
also.
did this and this thing happened? And that
Yeah, they're
cool
talking about like it
curve
was like some huge event. So I'm like, are we gonna
Yeah,
get a
it's
comic,
something-
an SPD comic
flashback?
on that? Like when
Flashback,
Tommy was
maybe?
working with SPD and everything.
Right. We'll
Maybe
see.
that they're tying some of that stuff into with whatever we're getting with this reunion thing.
I hope it
Whatever this
sounds like it's with
SPA
SPA.
It, it
Yeah.
really does feel like that. They
Watch
are,
it not be
because-
anything, and it just be they've created their own spa, and they just
right. They
I
just
love
use the same,
They're throwing
same
everybody.
SPD
Why don't
badge
we-
layout, same font
New
and
Zealand.
everything, but something completely different. I could see that
Yeah,
happening.
then the real organization just looks at that spot. They're like, wait.
Oh, it's
You know,
supposed to be a
something
D, guys.
something we never really mentioned. I like mentioning this all the time, but Tommy technically became his own ancestor because they sent his clone back in time.
I forget about that because there was the
When?
White Ranger versus Green Ranger fight.
Yeah,
like season
yeah, in
3
season
wasn't
2.
there or 2? Yeah, that. Yep.
You know what?
Okay.
We're just gonna look past that. That maybe
Is
or
cool,
maybe
cool,
not.
coolio.
Your favorite Power Ranger doesn't karate kick, roundhouse kick a mechanical T-Rex in the face
Bro.
like Tommy does.
That's in my
Everybody's doing it
bucket
like that.
list right there.
It's
But-
so funny because like it's the most Tommy thing he could do
Right.
in that situation.
Right.
Was he saying shit ayah while he was?
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he was. Oh my God.
JDF
Ah,
may be gone, but his memory will live on. In
Oh my
everyone,
God.
forever. You know,
yes.
and
this
I
is
don't know
probably
what
he
Power Rangers
would have
do in
wanted
the
us to
future.
do. Just remember.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
work and
exactly.
Just laugh on it and like enjoy the good times.
I have being again like the like I mentioned, I'm the positive KY in real life. I have a positive hope in my heart that something will come of the Legend of the White Dragon stuff, something finished of it in some
Yeah, who
way. I
knows?
hope. If they don't, I understand that too, and I accept that. And I do hope that this also allows some of the other awesome Ranger actors that we know about that have come to like different conventions ever to continue to keep stepping up and being there and being present to like, you know what, guys, I know that we're like, you know, we're hurting and everything, you know, and we're hurting, you know what I mean? Like just a nice community thing so that they can
Yeah.
have still these heroes there in his honor to like be there for people. You know what I mean?
I
So-
feel like we might start seeing that within the
More
community.
appearances. Yeah. I'm thinking there's gonna be more appearances. of
Maybe
people who
maybe
like
with
that.
actors like closer to our age, maybe we might see that a little bit more. I feel like
Yeah.
Mm.
because a lot of them got inspired by JDF and like previous Ranger casts to even be on the show.
Yeah, because
So,
second to
yeah.
him, I would say they're like as much love and like push to him as like Wes's actor.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I guess Austin St. John to an extent, but then Johnny Young Bosch and some of the MMPR cast have been doing a lot more together.
Oh yeah.
And I've been seeing a lot of
Definitely.
things where they're like in like straight up group chats with each other, like family. I just love to see that. God, I
love
love to
that.
see
How you
that.
gotta
But they
do
don't
it.
just ignore each other.
When a
like-
cast to a show just continue to contact each other after the show, really shows you how much they love the project and each other
Exactly.
as well.
Yeah.
You know, they become a family through that experience, and I feel like we're gonna see a lot more actors coming back now. You know,
Yeah.
I hope so.
because
People, especially
Yeah.
for like people we haven't heard from in like years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hope that
we'll
this like
see.
inspires them to come out more.
Maybe after
you-
Cosmic Fury, we'll have some original series where they just pop up here and there, like
Hopefully,
Gokaiger.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder also if either Cosmic Fury or no problem. Yeah, stop dying. Excuse you. I'm just kidding.
He's like, my
Cosmic
time's
Fury-
running out.
Cosmic Fury or this Empire reunion thing, maybe with everything that's happening. I'm sure that they'll dedicate it to him, but it would be nice if there was something in there plot wise that had just some little offside reference to him. You know, I think they could handle
there
it
definitely
the
will.
same way like how they did with Paul Walker's whole thing with Fast and Furious. I think they handled that really well, having him like be done doing the heist and all the stuff. You know, when he passed away.
I mean,
think
Cat's gonna be there, so I feel like they're gonna mention
Right,
Tommy.
and they mentioned
Tommy.
Tommy and they mentioned JJ. I'm happy.
Yeah, I think
Just
they'll-
give me-
Yeah, no, that I feel like that's
Yeah.
a guarantee. They're going to mention him because how are we going to have the whole cast or like
If they have
the
a
most-
straight actor playing JJ, I'm gonna piss my pants, man. I'm gonna be so excited.
to continue his legacy?
Right? Exactly, because he does have it now. He has the powers, the Green Ranger powers, a part of the SPD Green powers that he has. So yeah.
You see?
they should have just made a new
Maybe.
SPD suit for the Green Ranger.
5, are we
Yeah.
doing the science right there? Is that a little bit of the science? A little touch?
I mean, I get what they did at the end of Soul of the Dragon for JJ,
right.
but like, I don't necessarily think he had to join B Squad either.
Right.
Because like
Yeah.
I get what they were going for, but like he could have been part of like there's so many different squads in SPD. Like he could have been part of like
Right.
another
But
different.
I thought
group.
SPD ended with them getting rid of all of it except for B Squad and making them the top, didn't they?
Yeah, B Squad was the top, but like,
Yeah.
he could have been like a separate squad, not like D Squad or anything, but like maybe like
I
a
don't know,
covert,
B plus.
yeah,
Maybe.
some kind of like special squad or something like that. Aside from B Squad, that's like pretty much like maybe the same level or something like that, or like just below. And then they could have made like some crazy like cool Green Ranger, like MMPR Green Ranger inspired SPD suit, kind of like on the lines of like the Shadow Ranger suit, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
like it fits more with SPD, but like still homages.
This man is not even
MMPR
trying to
Green.
hide that he's
I would have
part
loved
of
that a
Power
lot
Rangers.
more.
Power Rangers. Look at this man.
Right, look at him go. He's like indirectly revealing information even though it's not confirmed. But
I would
we'll
have
see.
definitely loved that.
Y'all. Thank you so much for coming on, Sentai
Oh
Five.
my
Thank
God.
you so
Thank you guys
much.
for
It's
having
been
me.
so fun talking to you.
This
all
man
these
put himself in
discussions.
danger. This man shifted into turbo to get through traffic to be on the show. And I am very that. God damn, that was actually clean as hell, Frankie. Good job on that. Holy shit.
It's about him. It's about
Okay.
him.
Listen,
I'm
I was
just
gonna
saying.
make it one way or another tonight because I didn't want to have to reschedule for the third time. I didn't want to do that.
It's okay.
I was like, all right, I really need to make it tonight.
I really need to
I
do
can't-
it.
and we
I can't
really
let them down.
appreciate it. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's such an like I keep saying such an honor, and I really mean it. Like when we had Squall on, I told him the same thing, and I said, you know, I know Squall pretty well, talking online here and there, messages, comments.
Squall's a
whatever.
great guy. I love him.
He is
Mhm.
super duper friendly, and like it's
He's
kind of like the similar vein of like things with like meeting the actors and stuff, where it's like I knew of you online and everything, and like I
Yeah.
really honestly like super respectful. You're super friendly. You and Vaughn were some of the first friends I made on Twitter, and like made me feel like I can have a voice and talk and do this thing, right? And so like I always like when we get people like awesome, like everybody big, but like all the guests, I'm like, are they gonna think I'm a dork? Are they gonna think I'm weird? Am I gonna say the wrong
No,
thing?
no,
I
like
think
and
you
like-
are a dork.
Well, and then Vaughn, we talked to Vaughn, or I did the episode with Vaughn afterwards. We talked, and he goes, my mama didn't raise me to be mean. Nobody. My mama raised me right to be respectful and to like I go to work and people know what I'm a fan of. They don't care, so I don't care. And I was like,
I take full pride in being a nerd about
I
this.
try to be
I don't talk
respectful
about
as
Power Rangers
possible as
everywhere,
much as I
though.
can. You know,
exactly.
there used to be a
Yeah.
time like when I was in the fandom, I used to be a dick because like I just couldn't like. It was like this was back when I was still like a kid, basically. When I was in like
Dark
What was that?
middle
Sentai
school and high
Five.
school, so like I didn't really
Oh,
fully mature
no.
yet.
Yeah.
thought
Was
I
that your
pretty sure
was
my
that your
age at some
Hibiscus
point.
metal face?
This was his villain arc.
Yeah, so and like I just didn't take. I still don't really take bullshit from anybody. But
Oh,
like
absolutely
I used
not.
to like
Never
I used to like
should.
really bite back hard and like act like a fucking dick. So
Yeah.
like once I hit college, I started like not doing that
Growing up.
anymore. And I
Yeah.
started being a little bit more
I don't ever see
respectful.
people throw any shit your way, honestly. I think you're more respected
Everyone
as
respects
a source of
you.
information, so it's like,
Yeah.
no.
I mean,
don't.
sometimes people try to like, well, actually, me on like the stupidest things ever. I'm like, dude, I already,
Well-
I this is like common. Like, I don't want to say this is like common sense to people because like sometimes you don't really know like how they are and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, I don't want to come off as rude and they say they have something and I'm like, all right, I'm
Oh,
not gonna.
no.
I would
Yeah.
feel completely horrible. So like, that's why I just try to like. Sometimes I talk like a robot on Twitter because like I kind of have to. It sucks because
Yeah.
like you say one wrong thing, or sometimes like people interpret it as the wrong thing.
Right.
That's it. Like
Yep, that's
you're
basically
gonna,
Twitter.
like, get your ass on.
Mhm.
For the
That's a
longest
whole
time,
episode
that's
right
why
there.
I'm
Toku
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm
so
surprised
it's,
we haven't done an episode just talking about Toku Twitter.
Oh, we will.
but you know,
Coming right up.
the fandom is still continuing to grow. So like I'm happy about that no matter what. Even
Yeah.
though like we're still we're still a niche fandom, but like we're pretty big at the same time.
Yeah,
just
I mean, when you
right.
get
We're
to
bigger
the
than
we
James
realize,
Gunn
to
thing,
be honest.
and James Gunn noticed everything about Kamen Rider, talking about he's a fan of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like all of those things are like people meme on it. And
I knew
joke
people
about
were
it.
excited for that, and I knew people were gonna expect him to say like, "Hey, say Ryder answers." I'm like, he's probably hasn't seen anything past like a few of the original ones. I'm gonna be honest, and
Right.
of course
Exactly.
he said his favorite was the original because
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew people were expecting him to say like Build or X8 or something like that. I'm like,
Right.
guys,
Like,
I
come on,
don't
guys.
think he's ever used.
Not gonna happen.
That,
Come on, guys.
So let's
Oh my gosh.
let's temper our expectations right there, please.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Brother 5, Sentai 5. We're so happy to have you on. Thank you so much for being our honored guest. We
Thank
really
you
had a
both.
good
I'd love to
time.
come back again if it works out.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
And we do
You
you got to
guests
come back to
sometimes.
talk about
So,
the
Battle Familia, yeah.
Battle Familia episode
Yes.
because
Oh my god, I'm not gonna be
Dude.
I'm not gonna be nice on that episode.
he's going to return to
be
the villain arc.
brutally
Yeah.
honest, please. Oh my god.
Oh,
But yeah,
God.
thank you so much for joining us, and
Thank you guys.
for listening, watching this episode. We have a lot of fun filming this stuff, so if you want to see more, just simply subscribe. If you want to be a guest, just let us know on Twitter or in the
Straight direct
comment
message us.
section.
Do not
Let
be
them know
afraid.
they're always looking for guests. They'll
Absolutely.
gladly have you guys on, any of you.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can like even talk about a topic that you're, interested in, or you want to like answer a question. We're
Mhm.
open to all that, guys.
Comments on
So
all the
yeah, thank
posts,
you.
comments here on the live stream,
Thank you,
wherever you
thank you.
want. Yes.
Exactly.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
It's always so much fun to just talk to guests and just nerd out, because that's what we are,
Exactly.
nerds. And what about it? We're just
That's
living
right.
our lives.
If you didn't
Be
know.
proud.
Yeah, thank you again so much, Sentai 5, for joining us. Thank you for
Yes, thank
listening,
you.
and I hope you guys have a good night. Take care, guys.
Yes. Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. May the power protect.
Happy holidays,
you.
too.
Happy holidays,
Yes,
absolutely.
that's coming up.
Don't die on
Mhm.
Christmas.
Oh,
Oh my god, please.
spend it with your
All
loved
right.
ones or people you care about.